Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about a situation that I have been seeing on TikTok recently, and that is the drama with the CorePower ranking list. So we're going to talk about it while I get ready for the day. I need to blow dry my hair, put on some makeup, and I'm going to share what the situation is like going on, people's thoughts on it, and then my thoughts on the situation, because I have some. If you're new here, hi, my name is JC. I'm a certified fitness instructor, and I love all things gym related. I currently teach fitness, everything from yoga to spin. I also am a dance educator and college student, so I have a lot of different thoughts on it. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and comment your thoughts down below. Also, be sure to check out my Winter Arc series. I'm trying to hit some personal fitness, running, and nutrition goals right now, so go check that out. Playlist will be linked down below. Getting into it, what is the situation? So there was this girl that released a TikTok saying that she had a list and a ranking of every single CorePower instructor in Chicago. And I live in Illinois, so I was kind of like curious, and I did some digging. It doesn't look like she ended up releasing the full list. It looked like she ended up releasing the top 3, but she did kind of hint at the fact that there were instructors on the list who she like trash talked. And a lot of instructors and people in the fitness community got understandably pretty upset about this.
Creator on this app who went ahead and took the initiative to rank every single CorePower instructor in Chicago from best to worst, and also solicited the inputs from other people in Chicago taking those CorePower classes, and it's honestly very upsetting. I'm not gonna show her face or her name because I don't want people going to give her any more hate. I think she's gotten enough feedback as it is, but all I'm gonna say is my favorite part about the Chicago fitness community is I have met so many instructors, including so many CorePower instructors that have just uplifted me, have made me a better instructor. This community is all about bringing more people together and getting more people to join the community, and we are not about tearing people down. My best advice is if you don't like a class that you took with a certain instructor, or you consistently don't like that instructor, one, maybe that instructor's style is just not for you. Every instructor does have their own personal style that they like to emulate in class. But two, I think you all underestimate how much people appreciate feedback. At the end of my classes, I always ask if anyone has any questions, comments, feedback, if there's anything that I can go over with them one-on-one at the end of class. I offer that to every single one of my classes. People have given me extremely good feedback that I take to heart. So if there's something that you don't like that an instructor did, don't hesitate to give them feedback. And all of the instructors in the comments that are sticking up for each other, I really do appreciate it, and I expected nothing less from the Chicago fitness community. We do stand up for each other, and we are a community, so I'm very grateful for that.
There's a video going around in Chicago about CorePower instructors. This girl rated them and ranked them from worst to best and actually named the instructors. I am a bar instructor. I have been a bar instructor for 9 years. I'm certified in over 5 bar programs. And I just want to say that I love feedback. One-on-one, or if you want to remain anonymous, you can send an email, you can go to Google, you can rate instructors on ClassPass. You should never publicly name and shame an instructor online. I think you could keep it high level if you want to talk about a method or style that you don't like particularly. But I think you need to remember that everybody is different. Every instructor has their own vibe. They're nuanced in their own way. They've been trained a different way than some other instructors.
So what even is CorePower? CorePower is a primarily yoga-based studio that offers a variety of classes. They all have different CorePower brand names, but what I would consider to be like a yoga sculpt class, a yoga flow class, restorative yoga, hot yoga. They offer all types of classes to suit a variety of fitness levels, but the main thing is it's based in yoga foundations and low impact movement. So as someone who is a fitness instructor, I obviously have some thoughts on this, but I wanted to kind of go into some of the comments in that video, some of the points that brought up, and just kind of share my thoughts about them. The one thing I will say is no hate to the original person who posted this list. While I necessarily don't agree with her choice on the internet, everyone makes mistakes. We should all learn and grow from them. And the one thing I do want to point out is she has not attacked any sort of person, like a fitness instructor that's called called her out, any fitness personnel that's called her out. Like, she has been very respectful towards everyone's comments and opinions, and we're gonna kind of dive into how the situation is progressing and ending at the end of the video. So the main comment that I've seen is people who don't want to take a new teacher, so they don't feel like it's worth their money to pay for this class and then have it be an inexperienced teacher. And I kind of understand that, but also at the same time you have to think, how does a teacher get better if they're never allowed to start? And we see this all the time in like the job market, like people complaining, how am I supposed to get hired without work experience if no one's going to allow me to have work experience? And so it's the same thing in group fitness. How do you get started if you're not allowed to start? I think one of the hardest things becoming a group fitness instructor was going through my training period where I had to take over someone else's class and I had to like teach half of it or the whole thing with my mentor instructor watching me, because people are they walk in, they see that their instructor's not teaching, their instructor's observing, and they immediately become closed off to learning from you, and they're just kind of going through the motions. And I understand, you paid for a class by this instructor, I get it, but at the same time, let individuals learn. Also, if they're being trained by your favorite instructor, there's a big chance that they're going to end up taking inspiration from that person and teaching in a very similar style to them. Comment I see a lot is that people don't want to pay a ton of money and then not know what the class or the instructor is like. And that's where you go and you look at studio reviews. You go in and see word of mouth. I understand it. Group fitness classes are expensive, and so maybe you don't want to pay that much money and go take an instructor you're unfamiliar with, or take an instructor before you know what they're like. But that is not what a ranking or a list is for. I honestly found it to be very dehumanizing to a lot of the instructors, and then reading comments from instructors on the list, like even instructors at the top of the list, found it incredibly dehumanizing. There is a way to like understand what a class is going to be like without releasing a list of every CorePower instructor in the city of Chicago. That being said, what are the different ways that we can figure out what an instructor's class is like? You could talk to another instructor and say, hey, I'm really interested in taking this person's class. What is her vibe like? If you're someone who's very sensitive to light and you don't want to take a class of the instructor whose lights are always on, go ask the front desk, hey, which instructors teach with the lights dimmed? Like, you can go and like talk to people and find the best class for you before paying the money. And I'm kind of thinking, like, I know me personally, if someone came up to me and they were like, hey, I want a class with this, like, I would 100% help them find it, because group fitness instructors, our entire goal is to get people moving, get people to find the best fit for them, and not every group fitness instructor is going to work for every person. What I'm seeing is I'm paying a ton of money, I don't want to waste my time on a low ranked instructor. One, what? That was an actual comment I saw. And second of all, yes, you're paying a ton of money for those classes, but I want you to know that these instructors go through so much training and have so much education to work their minimum wage job teaching you fitness. Dedicate like so much time to training and learning and progressing. And I'm an instructor and I'm still getting education in improving myself to be better. And so in my opinion, the only low ranked instructor there would be is the instructor that violates the scope of practice or safety with participants, or ethical practices with participants and is rude to them. But most places do a really good vetting process to make sure, or have systems in place so that if you have a negative experience, you're able to talk to them about it, you're able to get that resolved. Additionally, not every fitness studio is going to be for you. Some people are going to go to CorePower and love it. Some people just want traditional vinyasa flow yoga. You're not going to get that at CorePower. You need to find a different yoga studio. And I think people like kind of assume like one studio fits all. Like, no, you might not be CorePower's target demographic, and that's okay. You can find what works for you without trashing them as a business. For my thoughts on this, first of all, I just want to say instructors are not in competition with each other 99% of the time. Like, I'm sure there's been an instructor who has felt competitive with another. Like, we're all human, but for the most part, we get into the job because we want to see people get in the gym, get in the class, get active, and learn to love movement as much as we did. A lot of us have had a personal journey with loving movement and having to overcome something to find our love for it. Group fitness is a passion job. You don't get in it for the money. You get in it because you love helping people and you enjoy coming to work every day. And so we're not in competition with each other, and we understand it's part of our training to learn that our class is not one size fits all. It's not for everyone, and we have to find our target demographic. I've had situations this year where I've tried to people please for everyone and make a one size fits all class, and I've had to take a step back and be okay, my class is not like this. That I have to cater to the people that come to my class, their needs are, and what the majority of them want. And for those individuals who come to my class and it ends up not being for them, if they communicate that to me and let me know, I would be happy to help them find a class that's for them. Because again, my goal is not to get them to come to my class, my goal is to get them to come to a class. For example, I teach a pretty intense cycle class. It's always super high energy. A lot of it is pop and contemporary music, and some people really enjoy EDM. They enjoy that classic cycle with interval training. That's just not my style. That's not how I teach. But if someone came to that class and was I really just wish you played more EDM, I might be hey, I'm either doing an EDM themed class, because I do a lot of themes, or I know 3 instructors off the top of my head that do EDM music and interval training. Let me get you hooked up with one of those instructors so that you can have a better experience. Another thought is that it's reputation damage to put instructors on a list, especially, and I don't believe, to my knowledge, I could so be wrong, I don't believe this person released the full list, and for that I'm very thankful. But I'm just imagining that if she did, or even in the comments with people sharing their opinions on instructors, which a lot of the people are sharing very positive things about their favorite instructors. And I love that. Let's lift people up. But if we're releasing some of the negative things we think about other instructors, that is reputation damage. That is going to hurt them as instructors and hurt their business and their livelihood. And these are people who typically make close to or make minimum wage. Instructing is not a lucrative job unless you play your cards right or get super, super lucky. It typically is not how people make the majority of their income, or if people are doing this full time, that's even worse. That is what they're relying on. They're relying on having a good reputation and having people who genuinely want to see them succeed. There were a lot of comments saying that the ranking list was actually feedback and that instructors should be happy about this list and take it as feedback to learn and improve. The ranking list is not feedback. The ranking list is a ranking of opinions. Feedback is welcome and encouraged in group fitness communities, but feedback is not a ranking list. Feedback would be someone coming up to me and saying, hey, I love your warm-up, but I just sometimes really wish you'd change it up a little bit more. Okay, thank you. That is something that you're asking for, and I can think on that, and I can decide to take your opinion or not. Or feedback is someone coming up to you and saying, hey, I love how you cue through demonstrations, but I'd really wish that you talked it through a little bit more and used a little bit more anatomy terms. That is feedback. There's a path to improving. I know what I can do to improve. Your name on a ranking list, what do you do to improve? There's no feedback. And also, what are we being ranked on? It's on one person's particular opinion. That's not feedback. Coming off of the idea that this is one person's particular opinion, everyone has different needs and everyone's gonna vibe differently. So for people seeing that ranking list and seeing those top instructors and thinking, okay, well, I guess I'm only gonna go to their classes from now on, that instructor might be great for one person, but it might not be the right fit for you. Just as a personal example, I teach a class called Total Body Strength, and it's a full body workout utilizing weights and different equipment. And there are a few other instructors that teach it. We all teach it very differently. And I teach it typically by packing a few more exercises in, focusing on going from compound to isolation movements, and in a very sarcastic manner. That's just how I teach it. That's how my regulars like it. And that's not for everyone. And so I try really hard not to take it personally. Additionally, because I do interval-based training, we're not really going off of reps, and I'm trying to work the full body, it becomes a more muscular endurance workout rather than muscular strength. And so often people who come in expecting to lift really heavy weights can be a little disappointed because my class in particular focuses on endurance, not strength. It's not a HIIT workout. We're still lifting weights. We're still lifting moderate weights, but we're not lifting until failure in my class. Not for everyone, and I recognize it, but what it is for people who are new to the gym and who just want to gain that vocabulary of different exercises they can do and gain that form knowledge and comfortability in the gym. I have my target demographic that I'm marketing to, and everyone needs a different instructor. And so for the people that come into my class wanting to lift really heavy and talk to me about it, and they're I just didn't feel like I got enough of a workout in, my first question would be, okay, well, what are your goals? Like, what do you constitute as your workout? Do you want your muscles to feel exhausted? Are you wanting to lift until failure? Because then from them I can figure out, okay, who do they need to go to achieve this goal? The last little point I want to make before I talk about how this situation ended is that it is basic human decency to be kind to people. Group fitness instructors go into this job knowing that they're gonna have to take a lot of crap from people, that they're gonna hear people compare them 5 feet away from them, that they're gonna have to take it and they're gonna have to have a thick skin. We go into this profession knowing that and learning that in our training. But at the same time, that is not an excuse to dehumanize someone, and let's have human decency, because there are real people teaching your classes. They're not AI, they're not robots. They're real people with lives that you have no clue what's going on in their life. You have no clue what they have to experience every day, what hardships they have, what trials they're going through. So let's just remember that everyone's a human and be decent to each other. Also, it is a luxury to get to go to these classes, because these classes are no joke. They're expensive. It is a luxury to have the time to go to these classes, for your schedule to allow you to go to these classes, for your body to be able to get out of your bed and get up and go to these classes. It feels like we're taking that for granted a little bit with this CorePower ranking list. You get to go to these classes. You do not have to go to these classes. No one is holding a gun to your head and forcing you to be there. You get to. Said we were going to talk about how the situation ended, and I'm honestly kind of like, I'm not mad about how it ended. There were a few videos made talking about it, and this girl was in the comments of these other videos explaining that she did not mean to shame anyone through this list. She just meant it as like her favorite thing, and she was like sorry about how it turned out. She was talking about how there were instructors who DM'd her saying, hey, come to my class, I'd love to have a conversation, which I think is a great response. And some other instructors got understandably upset at her, and not understandably so, took it out on her in the DMs, which as a fellow fitness professional, I don't agree with that action. I don't think instructors should be DMing her any sort of hateful or critiquing messages. If it was me personally, it would be a, hey, come to my class, let's open up a conversation. I also made a video stating that she had been on a call with CorePower corporate, and that the two had had a very positive and understanding conversation about the video made, about the messages from instructors, and that she was still taking classes at CorePower and was going to still try new instructors that people recommended. And I think that's a very responsible end to the story. I'm glad that she's going to the classes of the instructors who DM'd her. I'm glad she's going to the classes that people recommended. She's still posting like her thoughts on them on TikTok, and honestly, some people are a little mad about that. I agree with that, because again, some of the arguments were, well, I want to know what I'm getting into beforehand. And I think with the feedback she's been posting, not saying anything negative about them, she's talking about the overall vibe, the intensity level, how it made her feel. And that is an opinion. It's not constructive feedback, but it's an opinion of, okay, well, I really want an intense CorePower instructor. Who's intense that's in my area? Like, that makes sense to me rather than a ranking list. Do I agree with her original action of making that ranking list? No, I don't. But I really admire the way that she took responsibility for her actions and worked to make the situation better, have accountability, and not just double down on her opinion, but actually frame it in a more positive light. But I did just want to kind of talk about this situation because it affects group fitness instructors all around. The line is, you're going to find an instructor that works for you, and it might not be the first person's class that you go to, but if you ask around and you understand what you want as a student, there is an instructor out there for you. We all love feedback, and we all love to get better and improve. That's why we're instructors. And so please, if you have feedback for your instructor, find a way to give it to them in a respectful and uplifting way. Always, thank you for watching. Make sure to comment your thoughts on the situation down below. Give this video a like and make sure to subscribe. Go check out my winter arc if you want to see me achieve some personal goals, and follow me on TikTok and Instagram for more content. Have a great day.